Hello and welcome to another video, and this is another video on MapInfo to answer another subscriber question. So let's dig straight into it. The question was to do with showing area within the labels, and we answered that in the last video, but what they also wanted to know was whether they could add in extra columns, and for example an extra column to show the area. And the answer is yes, you can, and you can use that calculated field as your area that's filled in. I'm going to show you how to do that, and then I'm going to tell you why it's not a good idea to do this. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that we're working on an editable table. So we go into our table here and we say modify structure. And I'm going to add a field, and I'm going to call this area. And I don't want an integer, I'm going to have it as a float. And I'm simply going to click OK now. It will add that in and it shuts my views of that table down. It hasn't closed the table down, but it's closed down my views of that table because it's modified them. So all I do is click there to say new browser, and it shows me a new browser window of that file that I've still got open. Now this leaves me the area column but with 0 values. So what I now need to do is I need to make sure I've got that column selected, or any cell within that column selected. I now say update column. I can choose my area column as the one that I want updated, and I'm going to get the value from, yes, from that table, but I'm going to say assist, because this gives me my expression builder, and I can now choose area. So that now gives me my area of the object in square kilometers, and I'm going to browse the results. So I click OK, and I'll be able to see the results coming up there. Okay, so this is fantastic. This now gives me my area as a column rather than just as a function. And if I go back and open my map window of this, I could now use that area column as a label. So if I double click on here to go into my labeling options, I can use my area, and this is the area within that column which I can put in as a label. Now I said you shouldn't really do this. Now why shouldn't you do it? Well, actually because this is editable. So this is text editable, and I can, for example, choose that number in there and change it. And now when I go back to my map, we'll see that the area appears to have changed, but the physical area has not changed. So you should be very aware that if you do this, it's prone to errors, because rather than using a calculated mathematical field as the field that is defined, what it's doing is it's using the text within that column. And as you've seen, it can be changed. Now the other thing here is if you were to go into this map, for example, and split one of these regions in half, then each half would not take on half of the area column. It might take on all of the area column. Likewise, if you merged two together, it wouldn't necessarily take on the sum of the area column. You could set it to do so, but it wouldn't necessarily do that automatically. So yes, you can do it. You can add in a column called area, and it can be the mathematical area of that region, but that would be at that point in time when you did the update. Now, of course, you could change this. You could update at any time, but the chances of people remembering to do that are fairly slim. So you're better to use the area expression rather than the area column option. So watch what happens to this 200 label. If I go into my Surrey district labeling, rather than saying label with area, I'm going to label with the expression, which is the area. Let me just say verify. column, no longer the column which is area, but it's now the expression which is function area. And you're watching this 200, and that has now gone back to what it was mathematically. However, in my data, that column still says 200. If I go into here and I update that column, that will now give me the correct area. Okay, so just a quick answer to that question. I hope you found it useful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe down below. And of course, once more, thank you for listening.